We are discussing chapter number 6, Work, Life and Leisure. So we were discussing about the influx of population because of various reasons in the city of Mumbai. So people, mostly the workers, they were forced to live in these conditions, like this is chawl, and Muslims and the untouchables, they were forced to live even in the bamboo leaves they used to, bamboo poles of corrugated sheets they use. So they have shelters like this. Then I suggested you that it was a trust being made. Let me show you that first. So the City of Bombay Improvement Trust, it was being established in 1898. And the focus was to get the land. And getting a land by moving out the poor. So 64,000 in 1918 people, they lost their home. Only 14,000 were rehoused. Then also there was Rent Act which was passed, and because of the unreasonable rents, and it fired back because the landlords, now they were not giving houses. To get more land, because of the scarcity of land was there in Mumbai, it was a time for the reclamation projects. So land reclamation in Mumbai or Bombay, let me tell you about this first. The need for additional commercial space in the mid-19th century led to the formulation of several government and private plans for the reclamation of more land from sea. 1864, the Back Bay Reclamation Company, it's a company name, won the right of reclaiming the western foreshore from the tip of Malabar Hill to the end of Colaba. So as population started growing in the early 19th century, every bit of available area was built over and new areas were reclaimed from the sea. So land reclamation, as I just suggested, the Bombay Governor William Hornby, he approved various projects. He approved the building of Great Sea Wall, which prevented the flooding of low-lying areas of Mumbai. And this followed by various other projects. The main idea was to reclaim the land. And the reclaiming of land, the sea area, the marshy land, all those which are available. So private companies were there. In 1864, the Back Bay Reclamation Company, this you have to remember. The Back Bay Reclamation Company, it won the right to reclaim the western foreshore from the tip of Malabar Hill to the end of the Colaba. Right? By the time this reclamation was going on, in the city of Mumbai has already expanded to about 22 square miles. And this all came from reclamation of new areas from various regions. Right? Then, I would like to highlight how this marine drive came into being. This is a very familiar landmark of Bombay. And where it is built? It is built by the land reclaimed from the sea in the 20th century. There was a project taken by Bombay Port Trust, which built a very dry dock between 1914 and 1918. The dry dock is a dock which is dry. I'm just not literally meaning it. That means the earth is excavated to build a dock which is dry, means there is no sea water there. Now this earth, excavated earth, or you can say the soil which has come up, this is used to create this 22-acre of Ballard Estate. You have to remember this. 22 acre of Ballard Estate. And this is how the famous Marine Drive of Bombay was developed. When we talk about Bombay, we talk about cinema, picture, movie, culture. So Bombay as the city of dreams, the world of cinema and culture. In 1896, Harishchandra Sakharam Bhatt Wadekar, he shot a scene of a wrestling match in Mumbai Hanging Gardens, and this became India's first movie. In 1913, Dada Saheb Phalke made Raja Harishchandra. In 1925, Bombay became the film capital of India. Now, many people in the film industry were migrants from the cities like Lahore, Madras, and Calcutta. So, Bombay, as the city of dreams, it was called as Mayapuri. And what was the life of Bombay? It is being portrayed or shown in various movies and picture. Like this, there is a song in CID like "Ae dil hai mushkil jeena yahan, zara hatke zara bachke ye hai Bombay meri jaan." Now this song has Bombay in it. That is, this song is talking about Bombay. There was another movie. This was CID in 1956. After that, Guest House in 1959. And there is one more song, Jiska Juta Usi Ka Sar, Dil Hai Chota Bada Shahar. That means they are talking about the people of that area, Mumbai. They were talking about and trying to show it in the type of the way that one who owns the shoe, he beats other. Jiska Juta Usi Ka Sar means his soul, his shoes on his head. That is, big people are there, but the hearts are small. So this is just it is not so important as far as examination is concerned. So the question arises, when did Bombay film industry make its first appearance? The answer is Harishchandra Sakharam Bhatt Wadekar. He shot a scene of a wrestling match. There was a wrestling match in Mumbai, Hanging Gardens, and this became India's first movie in 1896. Just after that, 1913, Dada Saheb Phalke, he made Raja Harishchandra. And after that, there is no turning back for Mumbai as a film industry. If you see the numbers, that 756 million in 1947, this was the increase. If you take it to only just 50 Indian films in 1947. The film industry employed in 1987, this is way back, 5,20,000 people. And most of them were migrants from Lahore, Calcutta, Madras, and very famous personalities whose name we know, like Ismat, Chughtai, Saadat, Hassan Manto, they were associated with Hindi cinema. Here is Singapore. Now the picture shows it all. This is Singapore Marina, which is built on land reclaimed from the sea. That is, there was no land. If you don't have land, then you reclaim the sea. And this all happened with Lee Kuan Yew's his vision. And because Singapore is successful, but the history says when Lee Kuan Yew, he became the president of People's Action Party, and under his able leadership, there was a flagship program of island, because it was an island territory, and he planned everything, and then 85% of the population he gave the ownership of the houses, and this is how he was successful also. Whenever cities are made, that is urban settlement, now we call them as the city or concrete jungles. So cities and challenge of the environment, large quantities of refuse, that is the waste products, polluted air and water, while excessive noise became a feature of urban life. Black fog engulfed the towns owing to pollution, thereby causing bad temper and smoke-related illnesses. Then the Smoke Abatement Act of 1847 and 1853 did not work clean the air, as smoke was not easy to monitor or measure. So by 1840s, towns, if you talk about England, towns like Derby, Leeds, Manchester, they had laws for controlling smoke in the city. If you come to India, Calcutta, high level of pollution was a consequence of the huge pollution that depended on the dung and wood as fuel, and also the use of steam engines that ran on coal. The railway also introduced, which was line introduced in 1855, introduced a new pollutant, coal from Raniganj. In 1863, Calcutta became the first Indian city to get smoke nuisance legislation. So we were just talking about that whenever an urban settlement is done or city is being developed, then the pollution is always there. And this was just not pollution like air and water polluted, they got polluted. Apart from that, the noise also, it became the feature of urban life. England, if you go to the home and industries in 19th century, cities like Leeds, Bradford and Manchester, hundreds of chimneys were there, and people, they just are becoming black. They can't wear the clothes. Their clothes were getting dirty, and skies were grey, vegetables were black. And this picture shows it all. This is the London smog. This smog word comes from smoke and fog. So when the smoke settles down on fog, it becomes smog. So it was very difficult for them now to breathe in this air and see the road even. Why the legislation was the people tried to do that, to control the nuisance through legislation actually. But the factory owners and the steam engine owners, they don't want to spend on the technology, latest technology, or they don't want to repair or improve the machines. By 1840s, a few towns like Derby, Leeds and Manchester, they had laws to control the smoke in the city. The Smoke Abatement Act of 1847 and 1853, we are talking about these cities, as they were called, did not always work to clean the air. Coming back to India, Calcutta, it has a long history of air pollution, particularly in winter, the grey smoke, because the city was built on a marshy land. So there was a combination of this smoke or smog, a black smog. And most of the people, being poor, they were dependent on dung and wood as the fuel in daily life. Colonies, the colonial people, they wanted to do something. They were at the first intent on clearing the place of the miasmas or harmful vapor, you can say. That is, they just want to clean the air. But the railway, or you can say the coal from Raniganj, there was a railway line, and the coal coming from here gives a lot of ash. But still, many pleas were being made, and this you have to remember. In 1863, Calcutta became the first Indian city to get smoke nuisance legislation. This legislation, Calcutta became the first city. Then the inspectors of Bengal Smoke Nuisance Commission, they were doing a good job, but still the house domestic created smoke was difficult to control. So let us conclude by saying that the city always comes with good and bad things. Good is that seeking freedom, opportunities. And we went to London, we talked about England, London especially, and then we came back to India. We talked about Mumbai, how was the life, how people started living when the city was being industrialized and being urbanized. But still, the good thing and bad thing are the part of an urban culture or city culture. So this is all about this topic. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself.